We're back with Joe DeLoach, and we're going to do more on the Raiders. You called me and you said you have a few more Raider stories, so I'll just let you start.
Well, I covered the Raiders full time, meaning you'd go to practice every day and cover the games. From 1979 to 1981, it was a short time, but it was a very transitional time for the Raiders because Tom Flores replaced John Madden as head coach. A lot of the great players of the 70s were at the end of their careers. They're bringing new players in. And the glutton of media that you have now is not what it used to be. There were half a dozen to a dozen writers there at practice, and sometimes only 3 or 4. So I was younger than most of the reporters, and the younger players, I was that much older. And so I built up some friendships, not the type of friendships where they're going out, ask me out to dinner or anything like that. But when you're around them, they feel pretty good. They're not guarded with their comments. And I was a young, hardworking, aggressive reporter, and I had a way where I could ask tough questions without offending them. So I kind of infiltrated their trust. If there's that may not be the right phrase. So I have a few stories that after we talked earlier that popped into my head. The first one was in '81. The Raiders were playing the Eagles in the Super Bowl, and in those days, if a participating team, your local media stayed in the same hotel, which isn't the case now. Well, the Raiders had this press room, and one night I was trying to get ahead. It was about 10 o'clock at night. I'm the only person in there, and I hear this clang, 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 clang. So I walked up. There was an adjacent room. It was all black, and I see this head. It's Al Davis, dressed in all gray sweats, and he's lifting barbell. So he comes in, and he knew me, but he didn't know my name and that sort of thing. And so we're talking, and he said, "What paper you write for?" I said, "The Valley Times in Pleasanton." He looked at me and says, "Doesn't make any money." I went back to weightlifting, and I finished my stories. When Ken Stabler passed away recently, I thought about this. And '79 was my first year covering the team, and it was a Monday afternoon. I used to, since I wasn't writing for the next day, I would come late, meaning late, practically get over about 5:30, and all major metro guys were on deadline, so it was a good time to get interviews. So me and another reporter walk in the locker room one afternoon. Cliff Ranch walks out of the shower, and he says, "Let's have a drink on Kenny." Okay. We went over this little Gatorade cooler. He filled up some cups. We went over Stabler's dressing cubicle. He reached above on a shelf and pulled out a full bottle of Jack Daniels. Poured it into the cups, and we had a drink on Stabler. I don't know how I made deadline that day, but I made it. And so when the snake passed away, I thought about that. I posted that one on Facebook and got a lot of nice comments. '81 season, the Raiders were playing, had a road trip in Miami, and Mr. Davis, as he was known, always liked to stay in far away places, not downtown where players could get in. So he picked this one place, Sonesta Beach Inn and Resort. It's right on the ocean. Gorgeous. Saturday, me and a couple of my colleagues were out on the beach there, and there was like this bar next to it, and a couple of rookies come walking by with their little pina coladas. And one of my colleagues goes, "Oh, you never see Upshaw or Shell out here." As soon as the words got out of the mouth, who comes walking by? Gene Upshaw, Art Shell, future Hall of Famers with their little drink before the game, 24 hours before the game.
Who won? Was it, they playing the Dolphins? Remember?
Yeah, this was the Dolphins. Yeah. That was '81. Yeah. I became friends with Mark Wilson, who was a young quarterback, and he living in Orinda, and he got the paper, got the Contra Costa Times, so he recognized the name, and he was real guarded with his comments. One day at training camp, he said, "Meet me in the lobby at 10:45." Where the Raiders trained, it was El Rancho Tropicana. It was a hotel, and then there was a practice field behind it.
Santa Rosa?
No, it's Santa Rosa,
yeah.
But it's the Costco parking lot now.
Costco parking lot now.
And so I met Mark at 10:45. Okay, what do we do now? Walks me outside, and we hid in the bushes because at 10:55, all these cars come streaming in the parking lot because curfew was 11 o'clock. All these players jump out of the cars, go into their rooms, and how the rooms were set up, they had sliding glass doors, and then there was a garden setting where they had swings and stuff. So the bed check guys come around with their flashlights and stuff. All the lights are turned off. Once they take off, the lights come in, the women come out of the cars and go into the players' room, parties on.
Because it was just one bed check. And
That's right.
Yeah.